Déjà vu. Enchanté, chérie. Eh. Oh.
Do you know French are gay?
Nigga, what?
They are gay.
He already started with the racial type of shit.
It's not racial, it's
Wait.
fact.
Sponsor.
Sponsor?
Not
We
right
are
now,
not even get paid for this.
but we ain't getting paid. But you know, you gotta always have some snacks.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what
Exactly.
it is. Hey, welcome back everybody. Opinion Outlaws, the only thing that you cannot say is you cannot say that. And we have to go with what happened last time. We were filming and let's just say that we did not remember that there is a high chance of battery dying faster when we are using microphone and video capture. So
We had technical issues. Let's say it like that. You know, we
let's
had
just say it like that.
technical issues, but luckily we already had a vision of making this into a multiple episodes. So it was funny thing actually. We have now made it into like our previous episode was also around 1 hour. The episode before that was also 1 hour. And let's see how long this is gonna be. But the 1 hour mark seems to be the golden state right now. But yeah, on this episode we're pretty much gonna continue from whatever we got left off last time and try to go from there pretty much. Because
Sure.
the last topic we had was about therapy and how we view it in different format in like group setting, and then as you know, how would you consider therapy in like, is it therapeutic to hear person talk and music and sounds and so on? So that, if I remember right, the last thing we were left on was how do we consider, or do you consider music as therapy? No, was it?
The discussion went from because you said that we have focused on group.
Group setting, yeah.
No, but individual. And then you said kind of groupie. And then we started to tell about group. And then the camera was like, I'm done with this.
I'm done with your asses.
So,
Yeah, but I think I answered in that video about how I view it a little bit.
you answered it. And right before we got to the music part,
It got
cut off. So we were like, okay, it's maybe a good part to cut it off. And we continue from that because music is actually a thing that I would say anybody can feel therapeutic about. So, actually, I'm gonna ask you this.
Oh my God, he's throwing me under the bus already.
No, I'm driving the bus.
Oh Jesus.
When did music start to be more therapeutic than just fun?
Personally, I would say it always has been therapeutic to me in a sense. Of course, last time or in the clip that we kind of got cut short of, I kind of answered in a way that it depends on the type of music that you're listening to, because you could have the music that uplifts your spirit. Because what I was trying to say in that part was that music runs on certain vibrations, which tingles your body to a certain extent.
You know what I'm saying?
And
It tingles my body to a certain extent, you know what I'm saying? Dude, I don't know where the tingling is, but
this nigga also type of shit, you know what I'm saying?
I'm not saying
But yeah, the music runs on a certain type of vibration, and depending on the type of music that you listen, the vibration might be a little bit off. Some of it might give you the energy boost, and some of it might relax your mind and give you a sense of peace. So, is all music therapeutic? Yes and no. But will the music always have some type of therapeutic essence? I would say yes. So to answer your question is pretty much that. What was the
when it was.
when it was?
Well, you answered that almost always.
almost always, pretty much.
So can I ask you the second question? Or did you have
No,
anything?
no.
What is the go-to song for you?
But with the go-to song, you most likely mean like the one that pumps me up and hypes me up.
We can either go with the categories.
Oh, jeez.
The one that pumps you up, the one that relaxes you, the one that makes you go deep in your thoughts, the one that hits your soul, the one that will make you, well, hopefully not cry. But
Oh, man.
if you're heartbroken, what song did you listen to?
Hello, it's me.
Could you give me like a list that goes through your mind? Not maybe this specific that I said, but
In overall,
like songs that you usually play if the situation requires for a certain.
well, I don't really have a specific listing for clear reason of that my music taste is wider than my future. What? Well, anyway, my taste of music is pretty broad, so I can listen from pretty much the opposite side of like music genre to the opposite side. So it doesn't really matter to me as long as I find the music intriguing and pleasing to my ears, or I can like appreciate certain instrument out of that song. So the ones that usually creates therapeutic feelings for myself are the ones that most of the time have less lyrics, and that's, I wouldn't say necessarily factual thing, but it is actually true that's why, for example, a lot of people who study and listen music that don't have lyrics in it, because it gives you that sense of peace in a sense. Because when you listen to music that has lyrics, you have to focus on you kind of like automatically focus on the lyrics, so you don't really get to relax in a sense. And with the musics that have purely instrument, you just get to enjoy the ride pretty much. You just allow the wave take you the way it takes. That's why a lot of meditative videos have non-lyrical music. It just, for example, just drum something and allow the vibration to do the dig. And of course, when you're speaking about the things that hype me, etc., we go from rap to hip hop to funny thing, even rock. Sometimes even at worst case scenario, not even worst case, but sometimes even metal rock. It just depends on what we're looking for. And do I qualify those ones as therapeutic? No. But are they uplifting? Yes. So that would, I would say, like music that are very instrumental and it can be whichever genre, but as long as the lyrics are not too like something that I have to focus on it that much. And of course, there's the situation when you have memorized the lyrics that you kind of don't have to think about it. In those situations as well, it can become a therapeutic thing. So yeah, but we don't miss in the streets. We always shoot our shot. So what about you? How do you view music and therapy together? Do you see them connecting with each other, or are they a fully separate thing, or how do you see it in your own personal view?
My personal view is that music is very therapeutic because it will put you in a state that you are looking for, usually. Like, for example, if you need something uplifting, you listen to music that uplifts you. If you need something to focus on, some people... Now, personally, for example, if I focus on something, I don't like any other music to hear it. But let's say I'm writing an essay. It is not a big thing for me. I'm not looking to make it a best essay ever. Just to get my point across, I need to write that. I can blast music whatever I want. It doesn't care. I don't care. But let's say, for example, I have to be a little more thoughtful when I write something or when I do some work. Yeah, I can then throw in, for example, one of the great is these kind of like Pirates of the Caribbean theme songs, where there is a very uplifting theme. It makes you go that, oh damn, I want to fight somebody, I want to do this, I want to do that, but it doesn't have any lyrics.
Instrumental, purely instrumental.
It's instrumental, and those kind of music, not only like pirate, but in all sense, medieval, fighting spirit, like those. In those senses, there are some musics that I put on, and then I can focus on that work if the work is not in big part of focusing for. But then for example, when I go to the gym, I don't listen to music at all.
Lady Gaga's type of shit.
I like, when I go to the gym, for example, I like to be focused on the thing that I'm doing. And more importantly, I hate that I need somehow motivation or discipline outside of me. That's how I view the world.
Lady Gaga type of shit.
Like, it's more like a garbage.
Go carry those logs.
Like,
go carry those boats.
It's more for garbage, like for me. But then, for example, my brother is the total opposite. He cannot go to the gym without music.
Oh, he knows. You know, when you got to do that one PR, you always got to have that.
You get what I'm saying? Like, he cannot go to the gym without music. He puts the music on, he's dead face, he's cold, and he does...
It centers you into a certain state.
Yeah. And that's for example. And I can see it in myself that some type of music can hit me in a different way, or it can reflect on the things that I'm going through right now. So I believe, yes, it's very therapeutic, and this is not something just for me. I believe that we know a lot of people who use music as escape. They can use music as connecting. They can use music as getting over something. They can use music as to send a message, to try to convince someone to, like, there are a bunch of stuff that they can do for their benefit to get over something or to get through something or whatever the case may be. So that's how I view it. As such, you asked.
Oh, he kind of like wrapped it around. Okay, so it's kind of the same. And what about because you asked me about, like, do you have a specific type of music that really gives you that sense of, because you mentioned about like piratey type of, or how would I say, more, not really just piratey, but
those kind of like
cinematic action type
yeah.
of like instrumenting.
Yeah.
So do you have a very specific music that is in your mind that really gives you off that sense of, I can, right now? Do you have that type of song?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, you know, kind of like let your mind, let it loose. Your mind kind of gets the message. Let it loose.
Dude.
Let it loose.
Dude, what you talking about?
Hey, you started. We're trying to stay civilized and professional over here.
I am sophisticated. You cannot just say that.
Hey, that's a good old expression. Good old expression.
But yeah, there are, for me, I don't have like my brother over here where I have a broad aspect that if it sounds good, I'll listen to it. No, for example, many people may hate this, but
you're racist.
Finnish music, where are the Finnish lyrics?
Oh yeah.
I cannot listen to it. Unfortunately, like there's nothing personal against it. But for me, and I believe for every human being whose native tongue is not Finnish, the music that the Finnish language produces, it doesn't sound good, at least to my ear. And I believe
I can agree to some extent, because I've learned to appreciate certain songs, like certain old school Finnish songs are like, you know, catchy and all that. But a lot of the major new ones, I'm not that up the heat. But I can get where the feeling comes from, because as we know, Finnish language in itself is very neutral language.
Yeah.
So you don't have any like masculinity, femininity in the words in itself.
You cannot use the language in this kind of sense. You cannot use it in a very lucrative way that you can bend the word or use the word in a certain way that sounds more different, or it hits a little bit deeper, or you cannot.
It's kind of like direct. It just goes on from point A to point B. Of course, we are not going to claim, because in like for example, the accent of Savo.
That's retarded.
It is, but you know, they for example have like, they try to some extent, but the words in itself are very direct. Like
Yeah, and I don't believe that there is any other language that has that. I don't know if it is because I'm not like a big I'm not like a big in literature. I like to read and I like to learn stuff, but I'm not in a big literature that I know every single language and every single connotation of the language. But I've seen that there is almost none of the language that uses the same way the alphabet and the language that the Finnish people use and the Finnish language. For example, if you write something, it pronounces
in the same way as you
from
write.
alphabetic order. Like it's nothing. If we use just the word the, the, the. That's how it's pronounced.
Yep.
Finnish people te.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? Like to the native Finnish people, Finnish talking people, the alphabetic is exactly how it's pronounced, the word. So when they are trying to put that kind of language in the art mode, it takes away a certain type of fluidity, a certain type of melody, a harmony that a Finnish language cannot produce. It cannot. And for me and for the most of the people whose native tongue is not Finnish, the music in itself will not be good will not be pleasant for the ear. In a natural manner. I'm not bashing any musician or in the Finnish language in itself. I'm just saying that I cannot listen to it because it doesn't sound pleasant in my ear. That's the first one. Or the second, classical, opera. These are, I cannot listen.
Hey, you gotta appreciate the classicals, man.
I'm not appreciating nothing.
Hey, bro, you gotta respect the classicals.
I'm not respecting nothing.
Hey, most of the shit we got today came to the good old not really from classical, but still.
Yeah, exactly.
Still, good stuff, you know. Mozart, what?
I don't.
Beethoven and type of shit.
I don't give a
God damn, you
flux
gotta.
capacity.
Shit, Newton's law.
I'm not giving a flux capacitor for that.
Damn.
I'm saying that you can never catch me listening to opera or classical.
Oh, don't make me catch you lacking, my boy.
I'm not listening to it.
Hey, I'm gonna have the microphone open.
Go ahead, bro.
Oh, what you listening to, bro?
Go ahead, bro.
Hey.
The only way that you will hear me listen if you come with your phone and then you put like, bam. Hey, what you listening to? What you listening to?
Call you lacking or 4K? Okay.
That's how it goes. So these kind of music I don't listen to at all. Heavy metal is one of those. If I hear it somewhere, I don't want to listen to it, but it doesn't like bother me. It's just in the back. If it's just in the background, fine. And I'm talking background somewhere far.
Isn't that pretty much the most of the songs? If it's far away in the background, I'm good with it.
It's far, like classical or opera, I cannot stand it at all. My head starts to hurt, my heart starts to feel the same. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like all of a sudden, my heart feels itchy and my head hurts. Like you asshole. So how you can listen to it? Anyway, heavy rock is the kind of thing that I can listen to it if it's far away and it's like background music. I don't care. But then afterwards, I would say rock, not metal, but certain songs from metal, pop, hip hop, rap.
I would be shocked if Ida said, I don't like jazz. What?
Well, jazz is a good one.
Exactly.
R&B,
Yes, sir.
Latino, and our countries as well, you know.
What's the language, my boy? What's the language?
Albanian.
Albanian.
So anything Albanian.
They say about that, bow down to the queen and the queen. Yeah.
Well, for example, that
Come on.
And there are some like Albanian songs and instrumentals music that is like towards just Albania. Like, there is no other people that can listen to it and feel any kind of way. They can sense it, that there is some type of energy, some type of feeling that why it is the way it is. But when native Albanian listens to it, it hits their heart, it hits their soul, like the bare meaning of what is it to be an Albanian. Those kind of songs, those are my thing. Those are my thing. Those are the songs that I listen to, like when it comes to in genre. But then if you want to boil down to what kind of music, like what kind of actually songs, that's a different question.
I was for a moment.
And African music, my bad.
Afro beats always.
I was
Always gotta have that.
almost forgot. For example,
Woo! A funny thing is that I've realized how international technically I am, because the amount of like music I have, bro. I got like from China, from India, from freaking Palestine. I don't know from what else, bro.
do you know what I just got in my head? The Chinese rap.
Xing sheng ha shi sheng shang xiero. Bro, we got all. Like, literally. I showed one of my friends that, because I was like, hey, yo, my music list is so broad that whichever song you need, I got you. They thought it was a joke. No, motherfucker, I got everything. I got, like I said, I got from Indians to East Asia, Middle Asia, Upper Asia. Then we go to Africa. We got the Middle Africa, the West.
Why is that?
Like I said, it's because that later on in life, I've learned to appreciate like a lot of different formats of like music. Because I always, even if I didn't like the lyrics, I always try to search something out of it to appreciate. So it could have been that I'm like, man, you're singing his ass. But whoever was playing in the background, he was doing a proper job. If you were removed, our life would be better. But that type of thing. And like you said about the understanding what the song's meanings are. Bro, I've been way too many situations where I didn't understand singing shit what the song was saying, but I was still.
For example, the Ali Kiba. I don't understand anything that the guy says.
Hey, but still.
But the music is fire.
Hey,
it's amazing to hear that guy sing and that music that he produces.
Hey. But then when you hear the lyrics and actually the lyrics about somebody dying or heartbreak or something, and you still were like litty, yeah?
No, you know the world famous Macarena.
It ain't even a fun song.
It's not even a fun song. You can look this up. The song is about a guy who goes to the army and the guy's girlfriend is cheating on him.
Remember that one song that I showed you?
Yeah.
It had the same thing.
Yeah.
All Africans were doing din, 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 but later on, it's actually about cheating too. Guy getting cheated on and all that, and the guy is like, yeah, that girl, whatever. But everybody was getting lit. Another example, the Japanese song, was it Stay With Me or whatever? Actually, everybody was getting, but in reality, it was dark. So it was dark song, if you understand the lyrics. But that's how it goes with me. Like, I might not necessarily understand what the song is saying, but I can appreciate the message without fully understanding it. Right? I'm like, some is going behind it. I know that for sure, but let me enjoy the flow right now because I like something about it.
So I'm gonna put you on the spot now.
Oh no.
3 songs.
I can't.
Hold on. 3 songs. You have a rough day. You need to hype yourself up. You need to calm yourself down. You need to have something to move you in a musical sense. What are the songs that you will be blasting?
Hey, that's kind of tough, closing on that.
That's why I'm riding the bus and running you over with it.
Because like I've always had the issue that I do not have specific like favorite songs. I almost never had like favorite songs. There might be like certain times where I blast certain songs multiple times, but usually all of them kind of like fade in the background. I still listen to the music, but another match, and it never goes like this is the favorite, this is the pa. But like songs that I would, or a band that I would most likely listen if I'm having kind of like not a sad day, but kind of like whatever day. Midnight. I don't know if you know. It's kind of like a retro wave type of music. This is one genre that I kind of like adopted during middle to high school time periods. That was one genre, and the Midnight Band. I'm telling you, if y'all know about it, y'all in the small group of weirdos. And then, of course, we got a lot of our old school songs that we had like the early 2000s. Those are the ones. Then I have a lot of instrumental, like I mentioned earlier, kind of certain instrumental, like not just like, how would I say? Certain melodies, a lot of certain melodies like that gets me on the grooving. And then if I'm having a little better days or want to do my jizzle jazzle, then I got my Afro beats. You know, you always gotta have the Afro beats.
And what about if you're trying to charm
You always gotta have the Afro beats.
a certain lady?
Hey, yo, mama sit. Well, like I said, with Afro beats you can't go wrong. Let's start with that. That gets the hips moving. Then, if you wanna spice it up, you add a little salsa, a little Latino in between, you know, with the "Ella que saber," you know, some shit like that. And of course, you always gotta have the language that you speak. So Arabic music as well. Different accents of Arabic also, because those can differ a lot.
I have seen that.
Those can differ a lot.
I never knew that you can use Arabic, like you can make from Arabic language such a poetic song or such a poetic poem. Because Arabic has 12 million, 15 million words.
It has way too many. And the worst part about Arabic is that certain words translated kind of gives off. It kind of makes it a little bit different to translate.
Because there is no word for that translation.
Yeah, exactly. Specific.
In my language as well. There are certain words, I can name them, that if I say it, there is no other language that can translate it. And Arabic has a bunch of those. Because the reason why I know is because sometimes when some Arabic music comes, I don't understand anything Arabic. But then there will be lyrics. I'm looking at the lyrics, I'm like, that's a beautiful thing to say. Or what?
Hey, but I'm telling you, like, if you have heard like music that like differ based on the region that is being played.
Example, from Medina and Morocco.
Totally two different types. Totally different. Because the Maghreb, if I remember right, they speak Darija.
I don't remember.
At least the Moroccan Arabic is kind of like noticeably much different than what generic Arabic would be, because they have their own words that they have created, and also they mix language. Shout out to my Moroccan people, you know what I'm saying? But they mix a lot of things in their words. So sometimes when I listen to Moroccan person, I understand certain extent, but then at some point I'm like, huh?
What was he talking about?
What's he talking about? And then compared to example Egypt, person from Egypt and person from Iraq, they also have like different dialects. They speak in different tones, and certain words might mean separately different thing to them than to that person.
Yeah.
And overall, the flow of the music as well.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So that's another thing. And so the thing about 3 songs, unfortunately, I do not have a specific, but I can shout out some certain artists or groups for y'all, of course, if somebody needs, plugging, links down below. But yeah, I don't really have. But what about you? Because you asked that question, I'm guessing that you actually have something in mind that gives you off that. This is the 3 songs that I would go with.
Usually I don't have, if I have those kind of bad days or days that I'm down, usually I don't do it with music. I do it with something else. Usually
you beat your meat?
No, that's gay. That is gay, bro. I'm not gonna lie. That is gay.
Just reverse the grip.
That's even more gay. Like this. That's gay.
That weird ass grip.
Well, that is gay. You're giving pleasure to a man and the man is giving pleasure to you. That is gay. Argue me. Exactly, exactly. But usually I just put myself into work mode, or I research something, or I do some kind of learning, some kind of work, study or something, and usually that gets me over. And then sports. These are two things that if I have a bad day or I have a down day. Sometimes, a lot of times, sometimes brother or some friends, we talk shit. All of a sudden, the bad feeling is gone.
Wow.
But I don't have that. However, let's say that I go into music and I'm searching for something that will spike that thing, or that will. Usually, it goes to my country's patriotic songs. One of that is like, it has a great melody, great lyrics, and it hits. If you are a native Albanian, it hits you to the core. It's më e mirë, më e lindur në Kosovë.
In the Kosovo. Wow.
It hits you, like it hits you, and everybody who listens to it, if they are native Albanian, if they listen to it, it's like, oof, that's the thing.
That's the thing.
Hall of Fame by Script. That's the one.
And I remember when it came out, my guy was popping it till this day.
It is very personalized. I remember when I first, like, the first time I heard it, it sounded like it was meant, like the song was meant for me. That's how I felt.
He got the touch.
Like you get what I'm saying. Like even the lyrics, do it for your people, do it for your pride, do it for your country, do it for your name. You can walk straight to hell with a smile. Go talk to God banging on his door. Like these things that they say, it hit me to my core. It put me in a state that this is it.
This is the message again.
And I still listen to it. Even today, I listen to it. I would say those two are like go-to, if the thing is. Other than that, the third song, it depends what is the case. If I'm feeling like I want to, dance a little bit, or make someone dance a little bit, or have some fun time, you know what I'm saying? Not like that. What's it talking about?
Hey, Devil's Hula Hula.
Nah. Usually Mohombi Bumpy Ride is a good one. Shakira Hips Don't Lie.
They never lie.
They never lie. These are good one. Kemi Little, Turn Me On.
Give it a
Turn me on. Turn me on. Turn me on. Turn me on. Like, you know the thing. Or Tempted to Touch is the same song but different guy.
Yeah, well, y'all wonder why he has all those spicy type of songs.
These are usually the songs that will
Devil's Hula,
make you dance. But then if you want to put something more romantic, usually it goes from Latino to the African more chill songs. Like the AOJ has good ones.
Oh yeah, he hasn't dropped anything in a while. Alright, so.
But he has some good ones that I have from them. From them. Then I have some Latinos, for example, Prince Royce. He has some good ones, like when you just want to put something in the mood and you're chilling, you're vibing. These are like my go-tos if the situation goes. Other than that, everything that hits something that I can listen to, because I'm very picky in music, because I believe that if you listen to music, it will affect you as a human being. If you listen to a heartbreak song 24/7 for 7 days straight, you will feel down. You will feel depressed, even though consciously you're saying, well, I'm good, life is great, I have this, I have that, I have that. You will still have that feeling because you have that you have listened to the music. But then, say you listen to uplifting music, Mulan, Be a Man by Disney, full of testosterone.
Shit!
Full of testosterone. Like, it's a great song. It can lift you up even if you're down.
Actually, I was about to think. Did we talk about like the visual side of like can visual things give you therapeutic feeling as well?
No, we didn't, but I 100% agree that if there is a beautiful woman, it is very therapeutic.
Oh my days, man! It gives you the
Of course, every man knows this. Every man, if they have a woman,
oh shit! Hey, I played the fifth.
you don't play nothing
Played
because
the
you are an
fifth.
expert.
Played the fifth.
Big black man showing cases.
Played the fifth.
You meet some beautiful woman and it just calms you down. Of course, I believe in that.
I mean shit. I mean shit.
I know where you were going, not from the lady standpoint, but you were going for the visual part.
Visual
Can visual
things like cause you to feel sense of
bunda?
a way, a kind of sense of peace in a sense that
Yes.
creates you.
Yes, it can. Sunset, for example. For me,
God's creation.
you get what I'm saying. That God has given us this beautiful thing that we don't pay for it. We cannot argue with it. We cannot affect it at any kind of way. We can just enjoy it. Sunset and even sunrises. Those are very beautiful things to see, and they can calm you.
Good times.
Which one do you prefer?
That was actually what I was going to, as you guessed it. And also I was trying to reach with it everything else around it. Not necessarily something that you see naturally outside, but also something created. Kind of like, for example, our episodes. The quality of video.
Ladies,
Oh shit.
tell us. Hey, what you trying to do? Please get this man a wife. I cannot handle this anymore. I cannot handle this anymore. Get this man a wife. Find some good woman with God, Christian values and morals that will be his wife for the rest of his life.
Niggas can't handle me no more, man. Man, he on freaking shit way too many times.
Too many times,
Too
bro.
many times. You always wilding. Always wilding.
Exactly. Like why you gotta do that, bro? Why you gotta do that? Do you need a woman?
Hey, remember, I restarted my hair from beginning again to recharge. Recharge. But no. But when you think about it, because the reason why I asked the question, or I'm heading there, is because personally, I have certain things that I see. Of course, we have the generic things of like, if I see a beautiful sunset, that creates. Or you see a high quality construct picture or drawing, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
But you know what's a funny thing that creates the sense of peace to me, or gives me that, life is beautiful. Certain animes or certain movies. Because till this day, till this day, I can, I couldn't answer on the music tab because it's, whatever. But till this day, I have certain movies that I've even watched them 100,000 times, whatever.
Okay, give us the sauce.
But till this day,
Give
if
us
I
the
watch
sauce.
it, I still get the sense of,
Give us the sauce.
So, first of all, I'm still arguing today. Studio Ghibli, their movies, Spirited Away, beautiful. Man, I don't know what Japanese were doing, but whatever Nagasaki, Hiroshima thing happened, motherfuckers were creating beautiful shit.
Facts.
Man, creative, beautiful people.
Facts.
I mean, the Nagasaki thing was joke, but hey. It was
It woke them up.
devastating, but that shit, man, after that, y'all were bussing.
Like we can even talk here. Every anime always that you watch, you learn very important lessons for life.
Ooh, but hey, y'all don't know. Back in days when they didn't have that computer that much.
Yeah, they had to
the
draw.
work they were putting in.
Oh.
The work they were putting into their art.
Rest in peace, Akira Toriyama.
Oh, that motherfucker created.
That guy.
Imagine, motherfucker created so many stuff that even Cartel had to give a tribute. That's how you know nigga was, touching people's heart.
He was.
He was touching people's heart.
But Spirit.
Spirited Away, the movie, if you haven't seen it, y'all missing on in life. Princess Mononoke, if y'all haven't watched that, you're missing in life. House Moving Castle, even though, because I've noticed something. Japanese people have been very good at adapting things into, like, for example, something was written in French book or something, and they adapt it into a movie, and poof, it becomes.
Yeah.
You know what? One movie or series that you were watching that you never realized actually was part of the anime franchise in a sense. Moomin,
The one that
the one that you always watch. That's a Japanese made.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know this.
You never knew that, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's why it was so intriguing, because it was basically adaptation of the books
Yeah,
into
yeah,
an
yeah.
animation
Okay,
animated
I
version.
I see you. I see you.
So because back then when Moomin was popping out, when it went abroad, people were, who was this?
Yeah.
What was this? And some got rights to like make the movie series out of it, of course, in all copyright respect. And as we know
got
it till this day, the
got you.
series that we watched, it wasn't actually made in Finland. That's the funny thing. You thought it was made in Finland? Nope.
Okay, I did not know
Nope,
this.
it's animated. So that's the one demonstration. But like I'm telling you, the old animes, the Studio Ghibli ones, the effort, and man, in Japan they do not respect the creators that as much as they should, man. Cause
Nobody respects them as much as they should.
the artwork they put in.
Maybe only the Ichiro Oda, the one who is creating the One Piece. Maybe that guy gets the respect that he deserves. But the funny thing is that many people even don't know how he looks right now, because he doesn't do like any public presses or anything. But still.
But not even that, because a lot of time those guys are like the main like creators.
Yeah.
But I mean like the guys who do the things on the side, like the backgrounds.
Yeah. You mean
like
the whole
overall,
team?
The one person might be the one that creates the story and like designs at beginning, but then the ones that like make the background and so on. So, and I'm telling you, for example, Studio Ghibli's, a lot of their movies, the main guy is I don't want to butcher his name, so I even say it out loud, but y'all know the gray bearded guy with glasses, legendary. He's the one that like directs and creates the story, but everybody around do the deed. And God damn, I'm telling you, just seeing the artwork, you appreciate human. That's why comprehending God's power. So I'm like crazy, because if human also can like create such a intriguing artwork, which ain't even like HD, double G, XY, which our eyes are capable of seeing, but like overall just like doing it with your hands, I'm like, ooh, bro.
That is insane.
But yeah, about the movie, The Spirited Away, or the three ones that I mentioned before, I've seen it multiple times. I know the story. I know how it's gonna go. But every time I watch it, it gives off the sense of, it's kind of like, man, it was good time to be alive. That type of feeling.
Yes, sir.
So that's why I'm like, even visual things can like give you that therapeutical feeling of,
That's true.
the only translation is,
yes, sir. Yeah, we have to appreciate Japanese creators, because they make, usually the anime, they make it with such brilliancy that you can sit with your child, watch anime, and you don't need to be afraid ever that this child will be ruined somehow because of the anime. We both have watched anime.
My mom has it. My mom enjoys it.
We had a time from our TV producers in our country. They was doing the dub in Naruto and in Samurai X, Rurouni Kenshin. And the Naruto and Samurai X, we were watching it with our family, because it came to the same time always.
And everybody already sitting in.
And everybody, we wanted to watch that. What's going to happen? For example, the dad, even my father said to me that, you know how brilliant it is that you include history that happened in real time in anime. That the child will remember what it was like those times. Because the Samurai X, for example, it tells you a story about what happened after the revolution of the imperialists during the Japanese era. And the government was overthrown by the imperialistic government. And now, during that time, it was total bloodshed. Like people were dying left and right. But now the war settled down, and then what were the consequences of that? People who got traumatized, people who bear the name, people who were doing, and the main character was the guy who had the biggest body count.
He got bodies, we know
Like,
that.
he killed, but afterwards he felt such a shame, he felt a guilt that he promised he will never kill again. So that trauma now translated after many years, he gets himself into the situations that he will be pushed to almost break his faith, almost break his oath. It was amazing. The animation in itself was not that good because it did in the 90s. Same thing like Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z. The animation in itself, it wasn't like top tier like it's today, for example. But the story is written so well. The characters are put in the situation so well. The milieu, the whole thing was done so well. On top of that, it tells the history of your country.
Ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum.
You win in every case. For example, in that anime, this has, for example, changed me when I was a kid. There was a character who was a very precise, professional, cold, and he understood the assignments always. And he said in one place that a man can be pathetic. A man can only be pathetic if he doesn't own up to his beliefs, dead or alive. I still remember it till this day. And it still strikes my core that, well, yeah, if he starts to believe in this and then abandons that and believe in that and then abandons this and believe in that and abandons that, yeah, it is very pathetic. No matter or you're dead or alive. Example, I'm just giving you an example. Or about 2 weeks ago, I saw a scene, maybe you know. Like, I don't know any movie or any cartoon that had this much emotional scene. The Full Metal Alchemist.
Always we off. Oh, I've rerun that motherfucker a couple of times.
The moment that they are burying that police officer.
Burning.
Burying.
Oh, yeah.
The funeral.
Yeah, we remember that. Tough times.
It is a scene so emotional that I can honestly say I would say there is not a movie that has the same emotional scene as in that scene that they are burying that. I highly suggest you watch it and you actually understand what's going on there. But it was amazing to see that they put that kind of perspective in that scene. But you're right that there is also, when in visualization, not only that what God has given to us or not something that is done very well, but also these kind of creations.
Because, example, when we say, when people create artworks and they put it in a museum and people go watch around, and especially the ones that like to pay millions of dollars for that, because that one way of them feeling, well, of course, there's the extended part of they wanting to buy something that is quote unquote valuable, but at the same time they have that, they get a therapeutic feeling of that visualized thing, whatever they're seeing right now. But I wanted to actually segue from that subject into because in original episode we spoke about therapy and how it has become more popularized nowadays, especially when you say somebody's like, I'm going through therapy, blah blah blah. At least I personally have pretty much heard all of them go through therapy, but still somehow majority of them still are in no disrespect, but still fucked up place.
I'm gonna ask you.
Oh shit. Hey, you can't be asking the asker.
No. You don't need to answer because we know the answer. It's a rhetorical question.
Oh.
Have you ever heard a person who actually need therapy? The guys who had it rough. Like, for example, us, ghetto. We live in a hood. Have you ever heard we went to therapy?
Hey, don't advertise to the motherfuckers, man. Don't advertise.
I'm not advertising to that. I'm just saying that the people who go to therapy usually are the ones who have money, who come from a rich place, who have who don't have actually their struggles for a basic need. Sleep, food, getting fresh air sometimes, living childhood. Like, usually, for example, I know what it's like to not know when you will eat. That's why if you put some food on my table, I'm like, thank you.
We're eating that shit.
We're eating that. But then, I know people, they have come from a rich family. I have gone to therapy. Why you're going to therapy? Well, my emotional state. What emotional state? I'm not bashing that you go to therapy. All I'm saying is that if you make it as a trend, as a marketing thing, I'm not okay with that, because there are a lot of people who actually had it way worse than you. They will never go to therapy because they can't, not because they don't need to.
Oh yeah. Let's clear that out. That we're not like trying to say that therapy in itself, because as we've gone through things that are therapeutical, and maybe with this question we're kind of like diving in to the part of situation where we could say that somebody would necessarily need or won't need a therapy. For example, getting abused while they were younger, or something happened in their example, family members were killed off, or suicide, or whatever may be the reason. In such situation, of course, we are not trying to say that, oh, you're a bitch if you you're a bitch if you need therapy or so on, because each of us do need therapy, but in different formats, and the extent of the therapy might differ based on what's going on in your life. Because, like you said, somebody's like, I'm feeling bad today, and literally you have everything around you that you could first world issues, so.
First world issues. I feel bad today. Why? Well, I don't know. I slept for 12 hours. I ate this food.
He's clearly having flashbacks. He's clearly seeing something in his memory.
Do you know you have a luxury to sleep? You have a luxury to sleep. Last weekend, 2 hours a night, sleep. Second night, 4 hours. Why? I don't have that luxury. This man doesn't have that luxury. We don't have that luxury that you can sleep in for as long as you want. Sleep. I'm not talking about anything else. Sleep. The basic need of a human being. Sleep.
There's work need to be done.
There's work need to be done.
Hey, but what
I'm triggered a little bit because I hate the fact that, well, I slept for 12 hours, but I still feel bad.
He's talking from personal experience. I can see that he had something go wrong somewhere.
Please.
And he's catching all that fate right now.
Bro, please.
But I get you on that department, because I've talked to like a lot of people who mention about going to therapy, or have gone to therapy, or are constantly going to therapy. And my personal expectation issue, how I expect the scenario usually to be, if you say that you go to therapy, you're going for a very specific purpose, and you're trying to move on from that situation, evolve from that.
Yes.
But then you get to hear the person that goes to therapy for rounds and rounds and rounds and rounds, and somehow the issue seems to never move away or get any better in a sense. But they kind of stay in the state of, well, I'm going there, so I'm doing something right.
Yeah, mental masturbation.
Pretty much. So that's something that sometimes has boggled me, but of course I have a lot of like good friends or close friends that go to therapy, and they have got their shit together, like improved in some matters. But then there's the large portion of the ones that just goes for sake of going, and that's why I actually wanted to ask on that subject. That why has it, or what would you view that has been the reason that therapy or going to therapy has been popularized into something that is very mainstream, that nowadays everybody seems to want to have traumatic thing or traumatic life that they need to go to therapy, because some of them feel very forced.
You're right. And my answer is this. It's the same thing as with tattoos. You have heard that when the people get a tattoo, they want another one, and then another one, and then another one. And then you start to ask yourself, well, why is that? Why, when you get a tattoo, you always want another one and another one? Why is that? Well, basically, it's for the attention. Because it is a very addictive thing if the attention is focused on you, solely on the thing that you have something in your body. It's the same thing for therapy. And usually it's like these echo chambers when they are saying that, oh, you're going to therapy, that's nice. But they never ask, for example, why you are going to therapy. Don't get me wrong. If you have been raped, example, if you have been raped, you need therapy because of that. You go to that and they will try to give you tools in order to manage through that. Yeah, I said it. What up? This is not some joke.
Ain't no joke, but
I know this. But then if you advertise it in a sense of, yeah, I'm going to therapy, I'm paying for it, and you're doing just a mental masturbation there, it kind of gives me the vibes that you're trying to have attention. You're trying to get attention, and more so you're trying to have this moral upper ground that I'm better than you because I'm dealing with my shit. Miss or Mr., I dealt with my shit long before you did. You just needed someone to deal with.
There's two types of dealing and dwelling.
Basically. You said it, my brother. You said it.
Two types of Ds.
Two types of Ds. And I believe that it's because more of attention at this social media mainstream thing that pushes this idea that you need therapy and you need to go to talk to someone. If I don't need to talk to someone, I don't go talk to anyone.
And I wouldn't necessarily say anything that extreme, even in that sense of like somebody getting sexually assaulted in like.
I just took an example, but yeah.
No, that's something that I would most definitely understand the reason why somebody would, because usually the background of it tend to get pretty messy, from personal experience.
For sure.
But I mean, the ones that don't really have any. I'm not trying to minimize people's, experiences, but some people have it way too good for them to even try to act like they have a traumatic life, way too good. You get what I'm trying to say with that.
Yeah, if you're fed with silver spoon, why you need to go to therapy?
That examples, I've heard so many stories of my life was so hard, very difficult, very complex. And literally, when you get to hear the backstories, I'm not bashing anyone, but some stories to some people's ear, because we come from different experiences.
For sure.
And in a lot of cases, we tend to compare, like, what, So I've heard a lot of like situations where somebody explains their like reasoning why they see that life is very difficult and the reason why they need to go to a therapy. And then I'm like,
does it make sense?
Doesn't make sense, and it kind of feels off that you created the issue on yourself, basically. That the problem was caused by you. And you kind of like enlarged the issue to be a bigger thing than it was supposed to be. For example, life choices that you made. You clearly saw it early on that the life choices are going to mess you up. You weren't forced. First of all, that's the funny thing, that you weren't forced by anybody or by anything in a sense. You kind of chose certain patterns constantly, and then later on it kind of messed you up. And now now that you realize that you actually have to revert from it or fix it somehow, and it feels difficult, and then you kind of like start doing the whole bashing left and right. But yeah, those type of situations, I'm like, how? Why? When? What?
I'm gonna give you a great example. A great example. Somebody says to me, I go to therapy, but then they pick what they eat, like they have this, not even like restriction because of their health issues. Not like that. They can eat everything, but they don't eat this, they don't eat that, they don't eat this, they don't eat that, because it looks disgusting. That moment, I'm saying to myself that you're going to therapy, but
Have you had a lot of those too?
but you pick what you eat. So have you had it actually rough? Like, don't get me wrong, I understand if you have a preference in food, like I have preference in food and you have preference in food, but I would never like start to pick almost in variety of things that no, I will not eat this, I will not eat that, I will not eat that, I will not eat that. No, food is on the table, I will at least try to eat it. If I don't like it for some reason, I'll just push it away. I'm not trying to like be mean that no, it's bad. It can be bad. But I always think, what about the times that I didn't have any food? Or what about the times that somebody else don't have any food at all? They don't actually never know when they will eat. How can I then say that I'm depressed or I need therapy? No. You get what I'm saying? Like the comparison for us, but as well, like you said, the comparison is very different because for somebody it's a very different experience than for somebody else. I'm being a little bit mean, but I'm gonna be honest.
But the reason why I think we kind of might have a little harsher view on it, because if you have experienced like the both workers, for example, I wasn't born here. I wasn't, after a certain age, I was raised here, but I wasn't born here. So I can kind of like see it from two different worlds and compare it to like, what?
Yeah.
Well, I see back there, this ain't it. This ain't it. So that's why I'm like, when I hear certain situation of like, I feel this, I feel that, I feel plum, I'm like, you're just soft. that's why I say, man, you're just soft. Because no disrespect, but like, there's certain extent where things just goes that you're just letting yourself on a loose leash, pretty much.
That's how
that
it goes.
you're not holding yourself accountable. You're not really trying to fix anything. You're just trying to dwell in certain state because it's quote unquote trendy or makes you get sympathy, or because that's the funny thing. Some people actually kind of like get that. What did you mention earlier? Kind of like
attention or mental masturbation.
Yeah, mental masturbation and certain validation in a sense. Or so I'm like, man, that's crazy. Yeah.
And I can even add more up to this, to the therapists, actually. We have a saying in our country that you cannot be a therapist if you haven't been shanked. It's a metaphor, but basically what it means is that you cannot go and tell people how to do, what to do, and when to do it if you haven't experienced life. Simple as that. That's why we have talked about this before, that way back then when there was no internet and no electricity, for example, you listen to the oldest person in the room because that oldest person
has experience.
That experience that you need to overcome this particular situation that you have. That was the therapy back then. Not the same way that you go and talk to somebody, but they had that experience of life. So therefore, when you ask something or you try to get advice from it, you have it already, like everything's fine. So that's why they're saying you have to get shanked before you get into therapy.
I mean, I get it, because...
But then you have seen some therapists. Not like gone and seen them, but you talked with them. I'm gonna be honest, the therapists, they were talking about loneliness. I was working in a university back then, and they were talking about loneliness. They were both middle-aged women. White woman. Native, white, middle-aged woman. I went and literally said to them that both of you, I can see it through your eyes. You haven't experienced real loneliness.
You know, say, y'all bamboozling me.
You're bamboozling me. And they looked at me in a while and said, really, how come? I said, well, I can see it in your eyes.
Ooh.
Simple as that. And they were offended a little bit by it, but they couldn't disagree with me. Because I was coming from a real loneliness place. And I never went to therapy.
Damn, bro.
But look at what we got. We went there. Now we have a podcast.
He started tweaking afterward, man. He started going crazy. Devil's hula.
Nah.
Doing this and that.
Nah. Who
Community service.
Who said that?
Hey.
All I'm saying is that therapists who come and advise you on something that they have read the book. Well, have you read the book? I have read the book. I cannot tell you. It's like saying, well, yeah, you say, because I can ramble this on for a lot.
It's like, nah, I'm just saying, it's like saying that, it's a toolbox. You got the tools. The rest is on you. Yeah. How you go use those tools. Yeah. And some people, for some reason, like to go to the tool shed to search for the tools.
But then you get a screwdriver, but you bang the screwdriver.
Pretty much, exactly. Like, that's how it feels nowadays with the therapy thing, that, Because like we said, like you said, we ain't trying to say like the therapy in itself is bad or whatever, because the main point is to get the tools for you to engage and improve from certain things that you couldn't like digest or in your own mind.
For sure. Yeah. Well, how? Now I'm gonna ask you this then.
What you want?
Why you black? This is
because God said, "Let
me get this chocolate baby." Pow.
He said, "Alakazam." There you go, sexiness.
Give him everything. Pow, 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 pow.
Put some sexiness.
He
give him tall. Whoa, hey, that's wrong advertisement, man. That's
not the wrong advertisement.
I'm a grower, not a shower.
It doesn't matter. You're black.
Hey, that's a wrong advertisement. That will usually give bad reviews. You always gotta.
Do you know why, Buggy?
No. You always gotta advertise it in a way that he's kind of like a Hornet driver. It gets you the uphills, fast speeds, goes here and there, jet fuel, all that excitement.
I have a theory about you.
Oh no.
Do you want to hear it? Do you know why you don't have a lot of females in a rotation? Because usually, guys, this is how...
Men of God.
Usually this is how it goes, and that is why. Not because you are men of God, because God is protecting those women from you.
Hey, what have I done? What I've done?
Because you, big, black, good-looking man with the good Christian values, hard-working, non-smoker, non-alcoholic, non-drug user, an athlete, and a student, and caretaker of his parents, and caretaker of his sister. You're saying that they don't fall in love for this? If they meet you, plus so you're saying that God won't protect them?
From me?
From them, from you.
Oh, yeah.
Because you would make them feel something that will never feel again.
Certain type of way.
Experience. You will basically ruin them.
You're not making this any better for me, man. You just putting me in the blacklist pretty much.
Not ruined in the sense of she is not good for. Ruined in the sense she will never...
Nah, you ruined my reputation. You put me in the blacklist.
Watch this. You will ruin them in the sense that they will never get the same great experience as this man.
Oh, shit. Oh.
They will go and look for it in the rest of the world. All 4 billion men in this world. And for God greatness, they cannot find experience like Amen. My man, Bahit Lado.
Pray to God, man. Amen to that. Preach, brother, preach.
That's why you don't have a rotation. So, therapy.
I'm already hearing the simple quote. Somebody's like, nah, he ain't just getting no bitches. He ain't just getting no. He ain't got no swag.
If you think that my brother don't have no swag, you haven't seen him without pants.
You haven't seen the what? Hey, yo, pause, man. We just adding up to the sauce, bro. You putting me in a blacklist, man.
No.
I already know one of them is like, oh, so we gotta avoid that black guy.
Yes.
Ooh.
If you're not serious about this man, don't come close.
Hey, preach. We all about the seriousness, man. We
You
ain't
get
tryna-
what I'm saying?
We
Like
ain't trying to have no one night fun.
this man doesn't want one night stand. He can go right now. Right now, at this particular moment, you can go into the club, and the first woman that goes, she can say, "I like some chocolate."
Man of God, man of God, can't be doing that.
So my next question to this:
What the heck? Putting me on a blast again.
can spending time with your significant other be therapeutic as well?
Honest and non-honest version. Well, non-honest version would be, man, bitches annoy the hell out of me. Man, I can't buckle myself with that bitch. Man, she annoyed the hell out of me. Honest version is that as long as she's a person or he, whichever gender you are, or nowadays people like to be it, but we're still sticking to two genders. Anyway, whichever your partner is to you, that if they're capable of creating a safe space, if they're capable of creating a safe space to you, then yes, they can be very therapeutic. It kind of can get a little mixed off because sometimes there can be quote unquote trauma bonding, in a sense that you kind of attach yourself to somebody, and then their existence itself becomes kind of like something that gives you peace. But that's a whole different topic in itself. But overall, just somebody, if you feel at ease that when you arrive to their space, because it doesn't even have to be romantical. Funny thing, that's the thing. It doesn't really have to even be romantical. Even your friend group, if you feel like you arrive to a scene and your homeboy or homegirl is there, and you arrive to the same space with them, and your body suddenly feels, it relaxes. It doesn't. You are not tensed up as when you were with like random. That's one way of
Yeah.
Would that be therapy? Not necessarily, but let's say you and your brother, for example, been doing something constantly, and it always has been something that you guys do together. Was it car ride, or you go fishing together, or whatever you do together, and it's something that kind of gives you that small fulfillment and connection with each other. That could be counted as one way of going therapy, because it's some form of a ritual that you both have kind of accepted as something that connects y'all together, and so on and so on. So
Yeah, the reason why I asked, because we know that you had
under the bus again with the bus drivers.
I'm driving today the bus. I don't know how you witnessed it. But basically why I asked is because you had a very long-term relationship.
Expectation.
And you can tell the experience how it's like, because I never had that long-term relationship where you have that bond or that connection that is very deep. So that's why I asked, because I've seen it in myself that if I find a certain someone with whom I can share that, now I'm talking about myself, that if I share, for example, with that lady certain romantic evening or flirting or seducing, or it gives me not only the connection but also this, like you said, this certain peace of mind that I can be playful around her and she can be playful around me, and that creates for me a little kind of this detachment from the success part, or detachment from the grind that I need to wake up in the morning early, I need to go do the deeds, and then I go to sleep and then do the whole thing again. So when I am with someone who is in the same vibration, in the same space,
you're in the same chapter, in a sense.
In the same chapter, I can flirt with her, I can seduce her, I can be playful with her, and she can do the same thing to me, and it creates this kind of thing that I can. That, for example, that could be that is therapeutic for me, for example. That I don't need to be in this, what's the right word, to accomplish.
That constant grind set.
Yeah.
You gotta be on the drive, kind of like a
Yeah.
drive mode on constantly.
Yeah, and I have even gotten. I have told you many times ago, because sometimes I have done these projects with ladies, and in those projects I'm like very, hey, let's do this, let's make this, let's do it. Like I'm very on point, I'm very on time, I'm very strict, and ladies love it. Like,
Free air, boy.
they love it so much because they can rely on the fact that this man takes all the responsibility. We can be free around there, and we have done the best projects for that. Because ladies over here, they work. We cannot say that. But then we go out of it and we can just talk about things. And I'm just chilling out. I'm just relaxing. Even they have said, "Are you okay?" Yeah, I'm okay. I'm not doing anything to accomplish something. I'm here to relax. But that's why I asked.
Yeah, and to that's why I said in two formats. There's the
Honest and dishonest.
dishonest version, and dishonest is the reason of like the things that you can say. You know, you be dating for long, but y'all, man, we screaming at each other constantly and throwing hands and so on and so on. And then the honest version is the one that, you know, have you seen the memes where, you know, guys, let's say, being cuddly with their partner and, you know, the toughest guy that all of a sudden seems to be very soft.
I've sent you the video actually about that.
Yeah.
A woman was recording secretly. A guy, he was like a real
Tough guy, you know, street
like
nigga.
the street ghetto guy, and he was I'm playing his character now, but he was cuddled up in her, and she was like, "Do you like mommy?" And he was
Yeah, I
like,
love mommy.
"Yeah, I love my mommy."
Yeah.
And then when he saw a camera, whoa!
What you mean? To delete that picture?
They delete that. The guys, they will not roll me around with no more.
Hey, but that's funny thing. That's the honest version of like the part of peace. Because as you can see, the guy found some type of peace to let his thug self loose, which is kind of off-putting because we all been there. Especially if you've been in a long relationship, we all been there. Wait, if you were in the streets, you would be dogged out. You would be called names and all that, but because you're in such an environment that your body just lets off, and you, as you mentioned, you get to be kind of like on that childish stage and so on.
Yeah.
And it's very therapeutic, especially that's why we say when you find that woman that creates your peace, even after a long rough day, the rough days don't feel rough anymore.
Facts.
Because imagine you do a 12-hour day, you come home, your lady or your husband, whichever is your situation, you know, has done things ready, you know, for example, has been considerate, have taken your needs in consider.
Yeah.
You come home, you get treated right, whatever is the deed. Man, the 12 hours don't feel bad anymore.
Exactly.
You're like, shit, you know, I
Yeah.
keep grinding, you know, this ain't even bad, you know. I provide, I got you.
Of course.
I got you.
Even if it feels long, when you get home and there is a woman, now I'm talking about from our perspective, we like to work. We like the grind. We like that hustle. We like that rough times.
12 hours, 15 hours.
We like them. But then when we come home, the last thing we want is a woman nagging.
Cashing hands. You can catch this race.
At that moment, you just want to say, shut off. Because I'm doing all this, and then when I come home, I still don't have peace. I still have to fight. I don't want to fight at home. But when you come home, hey, is everything okay? How was your day?
Chill.
And she has cooked some meal that you like very much. She takes your clothes and folds it or puts them in a washing machine. She, like you said, is very considerate about the fact that what you are needing as a man. If you find that kind of woman, life will be short. Life will feel short.
I mean, that's facts. That's fact. And that's why we said somebody who creates that peace, because even the thugs will become soft. They become soft. They go. And the funniest part is, in such situation, even the thug guy that you showed in the video would like let out his thoughts of like certain things, tough things,
for sure,
in that environment. That's why I said, like, with your partner or whatever is your situation, if it's close friend or relative or whatever, if they can create that such a state, you are kind of like an open book at that point.
Yeah.
And personally, my ass was in that situation a lot of times. Doing that cuddle and
Well, that's why you said even in the first episode that we did with you, you have to find the person who can tickle that inner child because of this reason.
exactly, because man, putting me in a plastic. Yeah, man. Now they go think I'm soft, man. They go think I'm soft. Yo, you can't put me in a blast like that, man.
No, not like that. Like you're talking about in the objective perspective, not even
Hypothetical.
objective perspective. It is true. If they can touch your inner child for these things, it will be a long-lasting relationship.
Because it of course comes a little bit in a crossfire with the thing that we mentioned earlier about guys shouldn't like cry too much in front of their partner. About the tingling childhood thing is, you of course you become much more vulnerable, which connects y'all together.
Yeah.
But what we're trying to say with the previous one of not crying in front of your partner is, of course there's time where things are tough and there's situation where you are actually, you should allow yourself to let it out. For example, somebody dying who's actually very close to you and so on. That's understandable. We ain't trying to create no cold killers all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But then the times when you just feel tired and you want to nag about that. Nah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do
bro.
that.
Don't
If,
do that.
if you need to do that, do it in front of your homeboys. That's another situation.
Yeah.
So
Don't.
that's why I try to constantly separate in a sense that it doesn't need to always be in a relationship, romantic relationship situation. It can be between your own homeboy, homegirl situation, the relationship, whatever you got going on. But yeah, tingling your inner childhood, relaxing you down, dropping your guards, and that's how you can have the therapeuticals.
Yes, sir. So my next question is actually, do you have anything to add up to this? Do you have anything that we missed about the therapy? Because listen, therapy in a sense is a large subject in it of itself. If we start to talk about therapy, we can do a whole season about therapy.
Just random blaming. And funny thing, even these episodes that we've done right now, it hasn't really been about trying to put no statics or numbers up in the scale and so on, trying to be, how would I say, biblically correct or textually correct.
Yeah.
So this is more like our thoughts, random thoughts in between, and experience just being thrown out. So you can imagine, we can like extend this to a bigger portion, but to keep it short and simple, of course there would be always something to add on and something to put nick and knacks in between, or something that we have forgotten to like mention, which we could also mention in another topic that we speak about later on. Oh, by the way, something in between. So that's why I'll keep mentioning that if you want to have some certain context in certain episodes, suggest you to watch previous episodes. The context might be somewhere in between there and so on. So game of puzzles. So keep it simple, short. We ain't need to really stress about, trying to make this perfect or too complicated. But simple as that. Tell us how we experienced it, or how we feel about it, or how we think about it. And later on, if we need to add something, we'll add it later on. And you will find it in the next episode if needed, of course.
There you go.
Simple as that. But that's you. Do you have any finishing touches or sauces that you would like to add into this great dish that we have going on?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't have anything more that we talked. Of course, like you said, we talked more about from our perspective, how I see it, how you see it, and how in a general sense we look at the things for the therapeutic aspect. I believe that we talked about the things that maybe are not that. Let's just say that we can get a lot of hate for this, but also we will get a lot of love for this. So, if we manage that, then we are good. Then we're good.
Manage the reaction, you already did something.
Exactly. However, I cannot add up anything more that we have said in a sense that will be more productive. Of course, I can talk about how the sleeping is very therapeutic, but I don't need to go there.
It goes back to Nick and Nax.
Exactly.
Things.
Exactly. And I'll say it's a good time to finish this episode and finish these three-part
Random topics.
three-part of therapy sessions. Therapy sessions, what? Who said that?
Topic of therapy.
Topic of therapy. Let us know what you guys think about these things, what you think about these opinions that we had. Share your opinions.
Would you like us to specify in like certain area that you were interested in, and or if we missed something that you would actually like us to hear about this area, then of course we can retouch on it. But
Bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. But for now, we're just gonna leave it at that. And y'all buggle with it however you want to buggle with it. Free hands, free hands. If you want to catch this race, you can catch this race. If you want to catch the hands, you can catch the hands. Well, but yeah, that's that overall. And if you got finishing words, finishing prayers last.
Not really. You can finish them up.
If we ain't got no finishing words, hey, you know what to do. Always somewhere along the line that Idel is showing right now, there'll be something that you need to do. As always, the like, subscribe, comment down below, and always hit the bell notification. So whenever we drop, you'll always get the details about it and get to see the newest episode. And yeah, nothing much. Thank you for watching this episode, and we shall see you in next episode.
Yes,
Bye.
sir.
See.